What's up, guys? It's Jughead here, just a down-to-earth guy trying to bring you all some down-to-earth content. Welcome back to my Let's Watch Hunter x Hunter series. Today we're going to be watching episode 22 called A Dangerous Watchdog, I believe. Now, before we go into the episode, I have 3 or 4 things I want to say. 1, don't judge that I'm wearing a hat. It is not because I think it looks cool, it's because it's actually cold as hell in my room. 2, I'm sorry for how late this video is most likely going to be coming out from episode 21. It's probably going to be over a week just because my week has been so busy with work, projects, just regular life stuff that I just haven't had time to record and edit. And I know a bunch of you have your own experiences of where you just have such a busy week, you have no time to do anything for yourself type of stuff, and where even like I think some of you have shared in the comments like finally being able to catch up just watching YouTube videos. Now here I am finally being able to catch up, being able to record and edit YouTube videos. So apologies for that. Don't think it'll happen anytime soon again, but that's just how life goes sometimes. Number 3, I completely forget. Oh, this number 3 is what I was going to say. I've mentioned before that I'm watching Dragon Ball on my own time so then I can bring Dragon Ball Z to the channel. Just watching Dragon Ball on my own. Man, and I just wanted to share last night at like 3 a.m. I was watching the episode of Dragon Ball where Goku faces his dead grandfather in the battle arena type thing to try and get the fortune teller to find the last Dragon Ball. And when Goku and his grandpa reunited and hugged and Goku was crying, man, did tears just fall from my eyes, and I just wept like a bitch, like a baby. And I just wanted to share that because I don't know why, but with me, anytime I start thinking about life, death, philosophical themes of that nature, and like I don't even know, just seeing emotional stuff like that is when the waterworks turn on, is when I'm such a sensitive person. So I'm sharing that in that if you remember any times in Hunter x Hunter coming up where there's going to be some life and death shit, emotional stuff that you think I might cry to, that is what I'm going to cry to when that episode comes. So I just thought I should share that last night at 3 a.m. I cried like a little baby. Other than that, we can get into the episode now. Episode 21. All our guys, all our squad, our buddies, except for Killua, sorry, are all hunters now. That's dope. But then you get the dichotomy of the more melancholy situation that everybody's saying goodbye to each other. We say goodbye to Hanzo, we say goodbye to Hanzo, and we say goodbye to Paco as they go on and do their own thing and live their own lives as they're hunters now. Hisoka and Illumi are going to do whatever they're doing, but GON, Kurapika, Leorio, the trios together, they're on their way to rescue Killua from his family and back where he went back home up on Kukuroo Mountain. So that is where we are going to be picking up episode 22 right now. So without further ado and this 5 minutes of talking, let's get right into the episode. I forgot, this is also the other thing I wanted to bring up in the intro before we start, is that due to so many comments in previous videos talking about the subtitles that Hulu provides, and because I've been watching Hunter x Hunter on Hulu, and people have said that the subtitles are not so great. So what I'm doing in this episode and for a few episodes now is I'm going to be switching over to Crunchyroll and watching on Crunchyroll, and so obviously I'm going to be utilizing their subtitles. So I'll be judging these subtitles and the quality and the interpretation and translation and how easy it is to understand, as opposed to how I've experienced Hulu so far. And I want you guys to give your feedback as well when you see the subtitles and you follow along as well. What are your opinions? Do you like Crunchyroll more, or did you like Hulu more? Not just in the translations, but in how they look on the screen, because obviously I have to edit the subtitle window for the video differently on Hulu than I would here, because they're set up differently and they look differently. So you guys just give your opinions on what you liked better, Hulu or Crunchyroll, in terms of translation and how it looks aesthetically. But without further ado, again on that, let's watch Hunter x Hunter Episode 2, A Dangerous Watchdog, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's play. Oh, okay. I'm using my AirPods this time, so it was a pain in the ass to try and get the sound to come out of my AirPods and through my audio interface so you can hear it too. So annoying. We got GON on his way to rescue Killua, and the family has really high hopes. Oh, this is a flashback to when they were first sharing their their feelings with each other. Yeah, who wants to have their life planned out for them? He's just a kid. Wants to do kid things. He wants to get to him as fast as possible. Ooh, McDonald's. Nice. So, A Dangerous Watchdog is an ominous title, because they said the Republic of Padokea is welcome to tourists, but Illumi said they're gonna find out how different their world is from where they're from. So it'll be interesting to see what they have to go up against. They have finally arrived in the Dentora region. Riding on that bullet train, bruh. God, the trio, I'm so happy. All hunters now, on their first mission, going on their first adventure. The first thing what they want to do together is go on a mission together, go on an adventure. That mountain sure does look creepy, yes. I want to see them utilize all their new benefits and everything they gain from being hunters now. Are they going to be sneaky and keep it very low profile, or are they going to like not be too worried about sharing that information? Lamentation tour team. Sup, ma? Miss Hourglass, I see. Okay. What's going on? Yeah, they don't look like tourists at all. Keep an eye out for those guys. Oh, so everybody's aware of the Zoldyck family. Okay. Oh, so are they just very wealthy? Zoldyck estate? Weird. 10 members. Okay, let's learn. Great-grandfather, grandfather, grandmother, father, mother. 5 children. Holy shit. So it's just well known that they're the family and that the family are assassins. But 5 children? So Killua doesn't even just have Illumi as an older brother. He may have other older and younger sisters or brothers. Jesus Christ. Bro, what the fuck? What the hell? Who is this family, dude? Wow. Wow. That is fascinating. They own the entire mountain. Wow. They gotta be wealthy as hell. And they're just allowed to have all this? Even though they're assassins? That's not illegal or whatever? Yeah, but they're friends with Killua. Just go inside. Oh, Jesus Christ. They're gonna die. Oh, so nobody's even seen these people before. So that's very interesting. Nobody knows who these people are. So nobody knows who Killua is or what he looks like. Nobody knows who Illumi is. Maybe that's why Illumi used a fake name and said his name was Gitarocker. Even though, haven't they shared their last names? I don't remember. That's like a fucking Final Fantasy sword he's got on his shoulder. Jesus Christ. Some front gate security officer you are, you just hand the key over? I guess you don't have to really worry because the family's just gonna kill them all. Mike's gonna end up eating between meals. Oh, I'm gonna guess the dangerous watchdog is a dangerous watchdog whose name is Mike. Imagine seeing that on your tour. You just witness people die. Dude, you're getting your money's worth on this tour, bruh. Damn. Sick. Who the hell do they have guard in the front door? God damn. Was that the dog? Or... Ah, that would be why the walls are so high, I'm guessing. Hey, I'd go back with her, man. We like. A lot of movement in that animation, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm just so fascinated by this right now. I've worked here for 20 years, but this is the first time any friends have come to visit. Yeah, so that can they just go past the watchdog then? Just say it. I can imagine. Skin and everything, bruh. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that they're this wealthy, own an entire mountain. It's a tourist attraction. Everybody knows who the Zoldyck family is. And that they're all assassins. And they're just allowed to live like this. Like, nobody cares that assassins kill people, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's an it. It's the watchdog of the family, okay. Still follows the order its master gave it 10 years ago. Kill every single intruder. So yeah, call up Killua, say, hey, we're coming in. But they're probably the only hunters that have gone in before. They should be capable. Yeah, if you never needed to enter, you wouldn't have a key. He's the grandfather. He's related. I require no key to get inside. Oh. Oh, you purposely give it to them so they walk inside. 80 to 90% of intruders attempt to use the front gate. If I don't open the gate for them, they'll try to break it down. Yeah, if you just give the key to them, they're like, oh, cool, that was easy. And then just walk in and you get ate up. It's all an act. 5 head. Nice. Very logistical. He's not a guard. He cleans up after Mike. Ah. That's cool. Even the simplest things, it's a goddamn door, isn't even straightforward. You gotta analyze it and be perceptive, as that guy said. Wow. You can't slack off for a single second. Come on, Leorio. You haven't really done anything in quite a while, so do something. It's gotta be like Excalibur, the most gentlest of touches. Yeah, take the suit off, see? That's the first thing. Leorio, gotta take your suit off. That grandpa's fucking buff, dude. Testing anyone who cannot open this gate is unqualified to enter the Zoldyck estate. Man. Damn. Impressive. So he's qualified to enter. So only one person can go in at a time. Oh. Ah, that's nice. Yeah, that's why he's fucking yoked. Each weighs 2 tons? Damn. How many gates are there? When you go up a gate, the weight doubles. What the fuck? The numbers, how much strength that you use. Jesus Christ. When young Killua returned, he opened gates 1 through 3. Gate 3. That would be 12 tons, 16 tons. I can't do math either. Wow. They do live in a completely different world, as Illumi said last episode. Yeah, just go through that door. Moving 16 tons? Or with only one arm? Or trying to get past the dog? He's the most worthy. He wants to see Killua so bad he's willing to face a fucking dog that eats you alive. Why would you test your friends? True. No, he won't. Yeah, we ain't in the hunter exam technically anymore. We don't need to rush through this. Yeah, GON is the most stubborn character there is. He ain't changed his mind. Time to climb the wall. Yeah, why can't you just call him? Don't you have a phone in there?
もしもし、ゼブロです。実はですね、今ここにキルア坊ちゃんのお友達という方が3名見えてるんですが。
They're not even gonna know what the word friend means.
すみません。はいはい。わかります。
Yeah, they said nope.
すみません、失礼します。やっぱり叱られちゃったんか。
屋敷に電話してくれたの？
いや、ゾルディック家の執事にですがね。屋敷への連絡はすべて執事に通すんですよ。家族まではめったに繋がらないんです。
And Killua don't got a main direct line?
今度は俺が出るから。
いいですけど、嫌な思いさせちまいますよ。
Oh God. About to tear him a new asshole?
はい、執事室。
僕、キルア君の友達でゴンと言います。キルア君いますか
？Oh God, even the butler's brainwashed. Fuck that life, man. That sucks. Yeah, just keep spamming him. As the butler, you have to answer the phone.
君、ゴン君と言ったかな？
Yes.
仮にキルア様にゴン
Let us pretend that Killua happens to have a friend named GON.
君がゴンだという保証は
There's no proof that you are GON.
キルアを出してくれればわかる。
声でわかると当てにはならないね。
Huh?
キルアを出してくれればわかる。
今のはただのテープだが、声を似せるだけでいいなら方法はいろいろある。
Ooh, okay, how do you prove this?
会えばわかるかな。確かに全身そっくりの偽物を用意する方法は限られている。
Oh, Jesus Christ.
それでも不可能ではない。
These are all facts. You gotta go based off experience and emotion.
ゴン本人を脅して利用するという方法も考えられる。
Yeah, I can imagine they're very protective of their family. If any threat exists.
ゾルディック家は暗殺を生業としている。自然敵も増える。
Yeah, they have made enemies. They're assassins, but pose the biggest risk of being assassinated. Have to be protected from their enemies. Damn. I'm not even mad at the butler. You gotta respect that he takes his job that seriously, you know? Yeah, he's pissed. Nah, he's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be able to open the. Oh, I thought he was gonna be so mad he would have been able to open the door. You know, like he would have been so pissed. He's so strong to open that 12-ton door. Hey. He's doing this with one arm, bro. I'll accompany you through the door. Ooh, so will Mike not attack? Or he gets eaten, and that really would suck. Perhaps that he's gonna even risk that. He's about to risk getting eaten alive for 3 random people.
残っても同じことですから。キルア坊ちゃんの友達を見殺しにしたら、もう坊ちゃんに合わせる顔がありません。あなたたちが死ねば、私も死にます。
The result is the same. Die physically or die emotionally.
わかったよ、おじさん。おじさんのこと全然考えてなかったね。ごめん。
We're reaching mature moments here. GON is evolving. He's gaining more wisdom and maturity. Exactly. He's growing. Yeah, I don't think GON is going to be hesitant for anything. He's that determined to reach Killua. He's a country boy. I'm going to open the testing gate again. I want you to see Mike for yourself. Okay. This will be interesting. Let's see what Mike looks like. What if GON is able to tame him? That would be dope. Oh god. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, they went through the testing gate, so he shouldn't attack anybody that comes through the testing gate. Bro, what is this thing about to look like? Oh god. Is he gonna look cute? Oh, he's a big-ass wolf. Holy shit. Big purple eyes. This is a trained hunting dog. Oh yeah. That's true.
コミュニケーション取れる自信があったんでしょう。ミケの目を見るまでは。ミケは今 初めて見る人間の姿と匂いを記憶しています。それ以上の感情は何も持っていません。機械と同じです。
Yeah, that is a purebred machine. There's no way you could fight him. First time, ooh, the second time GON has said he is scared. First time with Hisoka, second time here. Only time he said he's scared. That's where he's stubborn again. This electric guitar, hell yeah. Yeah, they do live in a complete... That's what I was wondering what Illumi meant by this. It's cool that we're going to be exposed to all of this. Yeah, it doesn't matter what he has to face. Even that giant-ass wolf dog. So let's discuss. Before I begin this discussion, I want to apologize for any cuts or choppiness you probably saw in the latter half of the episode. Another thing I hate about Crunchyroll, the buffering, dude. Two things. The user interface sucks, and the website problems Crunchyroll has so frequently that causes buffering so much are the two shittiest things about Crunchyroll. Even if Crunchyroll has better subtitles, I ain't going to use it if the site buffers because it can't preload the episode fast enough. Like, and I have fiber internet and that shit ain't loading well enough. So, I don't know. But I digress. Just want to say sorry for the scuffed reaction from having to cut out the buffering. Even if it was barely noticeable, that shit annoys me so much. But on to the actual discussion. Let's discuss. Let's have a long, healthy, deep conversation here. I'm also trying to brainstorm or figure out ways to make my discussions more efficient. I don't know if that's a good word, but still in depth. Because you guys have even brought up the fact that I'm hitting like hour-plus long episodes when I'm only at episode 22 right now. What am I going to do when the story gets really intense 50 episodes from now and I have even more to talk about? What do I do? What do I have to cut out or skip? I don't know. I'm just talking. I just want to talk. But the first thing I'll talk about is the fact I continue to praise the writers for being able to balance the tone of the series in each episode and keep the atmosphere dynamic. Like, you get this feeling of mystery, seeing the mountain and learning more about the family. Throughout the episode, it like symbolically combats the feelings of loneliness with companionship. And you have the Zoldyck estate conveying isolation and loneliness on one side of the wall, and on the other side you have our trio of characters displaying loyal friendship with some comedic moments and lightheartedness. So you get all flavors, not just one to get tired of. Like right when the episode begins, you see Gon reminiscing or daydreaming, thinking about his one-on-one conversations with Killua on the airship back during the Hunter exam. Back when it happened, like when we were first witnessing that conversation, it seemed pretty casual. Neither Gon or us took what Killua was saying as seriously as it should have been taken. And only when hindsight is 20/20, of course, do Gon and us realize what Killua was really talking about. The first time we learned Killua came from a family of assassins, and when everybody in your family, going back generations, have all become assassins, Killua says they have very high hopes for him, and he doesn't get to set his own goals or aspirations. He said it himself, he can't stand it. Who wants to have their life planned out for him? And only now do we understand he meant that so seriously, as in being abused, held hostage, isolated, manipulated his entire life. This is some heavy shit, man. And Gon's deep thoughts are, and you're thinking about all this serious shit, and Gon's deep thoughts are interrupted by a French fry getting shoved in his mouth by Leorio, completely turning 180 degrees back to a more lighthearted tone again. And just that imagery of GON sitting alone, thinking to himself, looking sad, quickly changing to show he is not alone at all. He has two of his best friends smiling at him, asking him what's with the long face, you should be happy, as they come back with snacks for them all to enjoy, reminding him and us that even though we're on a serious mission to rescue our friend, it doesn't mean we can't smile and enjoy the adventure along the way. And I feel like that's the tone for the entire series. You know, we can have fun along the way in the series on this adventure, even though there will be obviously some very sad, very serious times along the way, but we're going to have smiles as well. So this is the first episode of the mini Zoldyck arc. I can assume that people were talking about in the comments, the one that is very split amongst y'all. It is either charming or boring. And yeah, it was a pretty slow episode overall today, but you know me, those don't bother me at all. I kind of like some padding out. This episode, I think, was meant more to set the tone going forward than actually filling itself with events. I feel like we've had enough of that right now. Like, literally, the episode is just one big symbolic theme. The viewers are separated from the Zoldycks. We know nothing about them. They are strangers, silhouettes, figures, enigmas. Just as GON and Co. are separated from Killua, we're stuck on the far side of some intimidating, imposing wall at the base of this equally intimidating and imposing mountain. You can't help but be filled with intrigue and suspense, kind of just leaning forward, wanting the characters to walk a little bit faster so you can see what happens next. You want to meet these people. It's like you completely understand why there's a tour business solely meant for this place, because you're just as intrigued by the mystery behind it. Which is what I'm going to talk about first. The fact that Illumi was exactly correct and he wasn't kidding when he said the location of his family's home isn't exactly a secret when Hisoka asked him if it's really that smart to openly say where your headquarters is. It's a tourist attraction, for crying out loud, a tourist destination. The trio didn't even have to ask for directions or trek to the mountains on their own. All they had to do was buy some tickets and hop on a fucking tour bus that took them right there, right then, literally right up to the doorstep. Which I also have to say, who the hell calls a tour bus company Lamentation Tours? Like, the emotions you want to be feeling or thinking of are regret and sadness. Not the best brand identity, in my opinion. But what do I know? They don't even hide themselves or even try to, and that screams absolute confidence. No greater cocky move than to decide not to hide your massive assassin mountain estate, or at least make it a little less conspicuous. Like, on the tour bus, we learn the Zoldycks don't just live on top of the mountain, they own the entire fucking mountain. I didn't even think you could own a mountain, let alone they also own all the surrounding land, equal to that of a goddamn national park. And their family isn't even a secret either, or what they do. Tour guide is just nonchalantly like, yeah, if you look out your window, you will see Kukuroo Mountain, owned by the Zoldyck family, 10 family members total. They're all assassins. Nobody knows what they look like. Like, this is one of the clearest signs of how gray morality is in Hunter x Hunter. The concept of a tour bus pulling up to snap pictures of an assassin family's home, knowingly commercializing the mystique and intrigue that surrounds this family. Instead of condemning publicized murderers for hire, it's not even like shrugged off. It's completely ignored and even more so accepted. I just couldn't get over that fact. It was just crazy to me. And that, because that's what I was wondering this entire time. It was like, how well known is this? And the other thing I just couldn't get over is the fact that the Zoldyck family has to be drowning in money. understandable, I guess, for the work that they do, must have high price tags. And didn't the tour lady, don't know her name, like Coco Lou or whatever her name was, say like some of the family members alive are like a great grandfather and a grandfather. So this goes back multiple ancestors accumulating generations of wealth through time, carrying on the same exact profession, which I then understand. It would make sense why you wouldn't go out of your way to hide your estate or keep yourself low key or low profile, because honestly, what's the point? I guess if people really wanted to find you, they will inevitably, even if you try and hide. But primarily the fact that you are a 10 family member strong family of deadly assassins. Who the hell in their right mind is going to break into your house? Somebody threatens you, handle that shit yourself, rip their heart out, no need to call 911. But you do really begin to feel how Kukuroo Mountain must truly be a lonely place, especially when you think about Killua and how it kind of all makes sense starting all the way back into his childhood up until now. This is what I almost forgot. The tour guide said there are 5 children in the family. Of the 10, there lives a great-grandfather, grandfather, grandmother, father, mother. So that's 5. So then 5 children. We know 2 of them, Killua and Illumi, obviously. You guys have to remember my face when it was revealed Illumi was Killua's brother. I was shocked. But now I learned Killua has 3 more siblings. They could be older. They could be younger. He could have more brothers. He could have sisters. 5 children total, all being brainwashed, manipulated, abused, held captive, whatever else you want to say, having their futures and fates decided for them. 5 children's lives absent of friends and a social life. That's really sad. And we see what all of that does. It creates someone like Illumi. Illumi is the blueprint, whereas Killua, I can imagine, is perhaps the only one who wants to be free. Everybody else is a good, obedient child, I guess. And I can assume Killua would be the oldest then, because, I don't know, when you think about it, Illumi is probably the oldest because he is a full-on assassin. He's an adult. He would naturally look out to protect his younger closest sibling, and if he is the second oldest, he probably gets the most attention, not positive attention, but negative attention, like ridicule from his brother and his father, if he is the next one in line to take that mantle or be the next blueprint. If his parents have high hopes for him, I would assume it is because he's the second oldest and they want him to end up like Illumi. So I assume the other 3 siblings are all younger than him and are too easily manipulated and naive to realize what's really going on here. And they don't have the desire to escape like Killua did. Otherwise, I think Killua would have taken them with him when he originally left. Who knows? That's probably getting way too complicated and in depth. And I'm reaching a bit in the writing or how the writer would have made the story. This is like how I would have wrote it almost. So I'm going too deep into it right now. But it's cool to think about the fact that our trio is out and about in public, going on their adventures together. Like the first thing they do is just go on an adventure together. That's badass. But they're amongst other people, but now they're hunters. Nobody knows these 3 people have completed the hunter exam, seen people die, almost die themselves, gone through incredible trials and tribulations, and have hunter licenses in their back pockets and should be seen as some of the most dangerous, intimidating, capable people in the entire world, dude. But again, nobody knows this information. All they see is a 12-year-old kid, a blonde-aged teenager, and a tall, slender man in a suit. And they're all together. And it's also interesting, we saw Leorio actually be the perceptive one instead of Kurapika, when he noticed the two sketchy looking individuals in the back of the tour bus and pointed them out to Kurapika instead of the other way around. You would think Kurapika, being the hyper perceptive one, he would have been aware already of the two people. So kind of cool to think that maybe Leorio, having been through the hunter exam and exposed to both GON and Kurapika's and their mindset, maybe he's picking up on different character traits or skills from his friends and he's growing. But then you get that comedy relief again. Despite that, what I just said, despite noticing two sketchy looking individuals, and despite me just acknowledging how perceptive Leorio was, ironically, you have Leorio just snoring, drooling asleep on the bus, completely opposite of being aware and perceptive of anything at all, not even awake to hear or learn more about Killua's family, where they're going. It's just, yeah, that was the funny comedy relief right there of you're in-depth thinking about things, analyzing, and then they just shoot you down with some comedy relief. It's pretty funny. So the tour bus takes them to the front gate of the Zoldyck estate, which is known as the door to Hades, because nobody has ever entered it and crossed the other side and returned alive. So, and that's funny because right when she says that, I think the camera focuses off her and focuses on people behind her, and you see people taking pictures in front of it. Again, the concept that a family of assassins are so confident in themselves, they don't care about being low profile. Instead, allow their property to become a tourist attraction. Perhaps it even feeds the ego. And like I said before, the concept of morality is so malleable and non-existent almost in the world of Hunter x Hunter. People capitalize on an infamous family of assassins and find a way to monetize it rather than punish it. Another thing I love how the show is so complex and gives you so much to think about that even something as simple as a goddamn door needs to be interpreted and thought about and has a twist to it. The entire episode was about a door. When you really think about it, the entire episode was about a door. The door that's not really a door, but a trick, and the real door is the door no one thinks is a real door. Like, so fundamentally Hunter x Hunter to put a plot twist on a door. First, you're told by the tour guide the only way through is the small, normal-sized door next to the security checkpoint. And in my mind, I was immediately like, why the hell is there even a door in the first place if nobody is meant to go inside? If everybody dies going in, that means nobody should be going in or is allowed in. So why does the door exist? It's also not like the family goes through the front door because nobody's ever seen their faces or know what they look like, only that they exist, if that. So that door is clearly not meant for them. And originally I was like, that door can't be meant for anybody. And that's why it is so interesting, because I'm immediately proved otherwise in the arguments I'm making inside my head as the episode's playing. And it's so interesting because right as I'm thinking that, we remember there weren't two sketchy looking guys on the bus just by coincidence. There were two sketchy guys on the bus because they are indeed sketchy and in fact came all the way to the Zoldyck estate to try and enter the front gate. And these two guys are just saying the whole thing is a scam, a whole tourist attraction around this mystery for a family of assassins nobody has ever even seen, where just a photo of one of their faces is worth $100 million, which is insane to think about, really. Like, GON is friends with Killua. GON, Kurapika, and Leorio all are friends with Killua and know who he is and have obviously seen his face. Same goes for Illumi. 2 of the 10 famous assassins who nobody else on the planet apparently knows who they are. Killua was even pretty open about who he was, but only to the people he trusted. So I guess it's a tighter circle. So but then you have Illumi. Illumi hid his face for most of the series so far, hiding his face the entire time, disguising it during the exam, except I guess also in front of people that he trusted, like Hisoka, and when he confronted his older brother. Just, it's crazy that they're friends with Killua, when just a photo of his face, if people knew who he was, would go for hundreds of millions of dollars. Which I guess the more I think about it, maybe they are accepted as being being assassins, because what is anybody honestly going to do about them? To the regular citizens, it's almost like a myth or a legend. It could all be some fabricated story to promote tourism. And then to the police or any enemies, what are they supposed to do? You can't raid the house. Apparently, you'll fucking die as soon as you enter. And nobody knows who they are anyway, so it's not like they can put up wanted posters or anything. So I think they're just chilling. They got nothing to really worry about. And there again, you get that comedy relief. Leorio entered the hunter exam for the explicit reason that he wants money to pursue being a doctor and saving lives, risks his life and everything for a slim chance he can pass the hunter exam, when all he had to do was take a photo of his friend's face that had he knew how valuable it was, and he would have been rich just from that and never had to take the exam. But what I meant by how interesting it is about something as simple as a door is learning how every single thing here is purposeful, planned out. Everything is a layer of security and protection. You really think an assassin family, infamous, would slack off in any way? You have a security guard guarding the door, but for what? Why do you need a security guard when everybody who enters dies anyways? You're asking yourself all the questions, but the plot twist still sneaks up on you and gets you anyways. At least it did for me. The security guard is just an actor, a good actor at that. Tells the two killers that he can't let them enter the door because the master would not be pleased. The guy says, "Don't worry, we were here to kill him anyways. We're going to kill your master." And the guard gives him the keys. And at first you're like, wow, okay, you give up that easily? What the hell, pussy? And when, of course, the security guard is all a facade. There's no need to have a security guard. It's all a front. What does he possibly need to guard on the outside? We know everybody who crosses the inside dies. So what's the point of protecting the outside? And we learn this whole exchange was an act. And pretend that you can't let them in. The fact that there is a security guard guarding this door makes anyone assume, and those two guys believe, that this door is what you have to enter through. So they demand the key to the door, but they're meant to go through that door. So it's actually the security guard's job to give them the key, and which he does that, which makes any enemy think that, man, we've done it. We're past checkpoint 1. We got the key. Let's go in. They're in. And the two killers we see grab the key, open the door. The security guard isn't even flustered or panicking. He's more concerned about this Mike, who is going to end up eating between meals when he shouldn't be. I know they said Mike, whoever Mike is at this point, his actual name is Mike, I guess, just because. Fuck it, let's make Mike Mike. And it's so vague. You're like, who the hell is Mike? Is there a monster on the other side of this wall? Is that why nobody returns alive? And right as you're starting to put the beginnings of the puzzle together, you hear screams from the other side of the door and the wall. Everything goes silent, and then the door creaks open slightly, and a giant monster-looking hand holding two skeletons appears in the door and just drops off the two dead bodies on the floor of the killers we just saw. So we learn why nobody comes back alive, because nobody apparently makes it very far after getting through the door. If they even make it past the front door, they get eaten alive down to their bones. But you can't really help but like the security guard. The trio introduce themselves, and the guard seems genuinely happy to hear that Killua has friends, and friends actually came to visit him. He says he's worked there for 20 years and almost a decade. That would almost be a decade longer than Killua's even been alive. And in those 20 years, this is the first time any friends has ever come to visit, not just for Killua, but for anyone. He was working there probably even when Illumi was a child, or when Illumi was Killua's age, and nobody came to visit him either. But Killua actually managed to make friends while he was gone, and for the short time that he was free. And you pretty much immediately understand that the guard is on their side. and wants to let them in. He wants Killua to have friends. Personally, he is on their side, and he wants to do his best to help them, given his constraints, obviously, but it's not personal, it's business, it's his job. He can't let them in as much as he wants to. Super hospitable, considering they are 3 complete strangers claiming to be Killua's friends. It's almost like the guard was glad to make acquaintances himself. He even said this place is a pretty lonely one. I would imagine it's lonely for him too. You almost feel like when he says that, he is glad that they're here. It's just like it's because he's glad he has some people to talk to and perhaps even help if he's even lonely. He doesn't even say he can't let them inside because he isn't allowed to let anyone in. He says he can't let them in because didn't you see the large arm of that creature? He tells them that's Mike, the family watchdog. He can't let them inside because he doesn't want them to get killed. The watchdog kills anybody else besides him and the family and only obeys the family. Again, it's really interesting as you're trying to piece it all together when you're watching it in real time. But that's in real time. It's even more interesting when you rewatch the episode and you know what's going to happen. So everything he says has a bigger meaning because you can interpret it with the knowledge you already have. Like, yeah, he could let you in the door. It's not his job not to let you in. His job is actually to make you go in that door, which leads to your death. Only reason he tells them he can't is because he personally couldn't bring it upon himself to allow Killua's friends to be reduced to skeletons. And here, where we love Kurapika, the true perceptive one, reads right through the guard. And I'm still trying to piece the puzzle together, but he pieces it together before anybody else does. Supposedly, the dog only obeys the family. So how does the guard himself survive when he goes in? Yeah, he obviously does go in because he has a key to the door. If he never had to enter, there would be no reason for the key to exist in the first place. And this is where my mind was subtly blown, because this is where we learn of the whole act, the whole facade, the security system within the security system. The door that no one thinks is a door, while the door that everyone thinks is a door is a trap. And even the guard acknowledged how perceptive Kurapika is. And it's also interesting how honest the guard is and how much he just freely divulges information like nothing is a secret. Simply nobody has bothered to ask him, maybe, or he just trusts GON, Kurapika, and Leorio. And because he reveals like the big secret to him, you'd think you wouldn't share this, but again, I guess what's there to hide, really? He shares that he doesn't have the key. He has the key not for himself, but for the intruders. It's all an illusion, like a carrot on a stick type of thing. 90% of intruders decide to try and use the front gate to get in. And they see the giant steel stone wall, whatever it's made out of, and they assume, man, we ain't getting past that shit. But then they see the security checkpoint with a security guard next to a normal sized door, and it gives off the illusion that that's the entrance, that's where you enter. So there's 2 options. Intruders will just try to break through the main door and get in, or they ask for the key to the regular door, and he's inclined to give it to them because he knows there's no threat. They're not getting in through the first door, and death awaits them on the other side of this door. It's all a trap. They want the intruders to go through the trap doors, so they make it look like it's the real entrance. They're just funneling them in. It's just a trap. The watchdog is trained to kill anybody that goes through that door. So if any intruders come along, just play your part, act it out, act like the helpless guard. They go in, they die. Crisis averted, and the security guard isn't even a security guard. He's like I don't even know what you would call it, the doggy nanny. He just cleans up after the real security guard, which is Mike the watchdog. Kurapika then realizes, therefore, the front gate isn't even locked. Nobody ever even attempts to enter through it because they assume the entrance is through the small door. So why lock a door that nobody ever tries to enter? The old switcheroo. The real door is, in fact, the ginormous front door that you see. But when you see a giant stone metal door wall, you can't possibly imagine being able to open or enter through it or being capable of being opened by anyone for that matter. Then you see the security guard checkpoint next to a normal door. Odds are intruders are choosing the easier option and tunnel visioning towards that, and that's the whole master plan. So once they know what the real door is, you have Leorio tries opening the door, giving it his all, but he can't even make it budge. The guard says he isn't strong enough, and he takes off his jacket, his ties, dress shirt. He's just down to his wife beater and his pants, and approaches the door himself. And this old man looks ripped as fuck, dude. He's shredded, yoked out. He says the gate's official name is the testing gate, specifically designed to test those who attempt to open it. Anyone who can't is unqualified to enter the Zoldyck estate. Those who can are worthy. The guard looks like it was confusing. He channels all of his energy because he gains this white aura around him, and he puts his hands on the doors and opens the door wide open, and the doors automatically close after a few seconds. And he tells you if you enter through the testing gate, it is because you were able to open it, meaning you are qualified to enter the estate. Therefore, Mike the Watchdog does not attack those who enter through this door. He only attacks those who enter through the trapdoor because that door is meant only for intruders. The reason the guard is so buff is because he has to be buff. He has to keep in shape to be able to open the door, or else he'll be fired, because then he's no longer to be qualified to enter the estate, therefore not qualified to work for them if he can't open it. And the reason it is so hard to open is because each door, not the whole door, each door weighs 2 tons. So the first gate weighs 4 damn tons. But it isn't just one door. There are 7 layers of doors total, and each subsequent door is double the weight of the previous. And you only need to open one gate, however. I guess it's just meant to quantify how much strength you use, how much strength you have. I assume maybe to show how determined you are to enter, or show how worthy you are. He shares, for example, when Killua arrived back home after being disqualified from the hunter exam, he was so angry, he opened 3 gates. That's 16 tons. 4 tons on gate 1. Gate 2 is double, so 8. Gate 3 is double of that, so 16. But of course, you get the comic relief again. GON apparently isn't so good at math and gets the weight wrong. Another thing GON has in common with Killua, bad at math. But considering you have to do all of that just to get in the front door, and you have traps set up for anyone who even attempts to enter, the Zoldicks really do live in a different world, as the guard says, and as Illumi said to Hisoka last episode when he said GON, Kurapika, and Leorio, he'll be surprised if they even make it, because they'll learn that they live in a completely different world, and they do. You live in a completely different reality when you are that kind of family. So much to lose, so much to defend and protect, and always checking your back, always on the defensive, always worried about intruders, always thinking you're never safe. And they don't live low profile because it's not possible at that status, and having that many eyes on you and that many enemies after you. So with that, this is also the first time we've seen GON get really mad. And we normally don't see GON pissed off like we do throughout this episode, actually pissed. He doesn't like the fact that this much effort is required just to see Killua. They aren't intruders, they're friends. GON came to see his friend, not be tested. It's exactly like the same feeling as he said to Illumi last episode when he was holding onto his arm, breaking it. He said he shouldn't have to qualify to earn the right from somebody else other than Killua to be his friend. Why is GON again being tested to qualify or earn the right to see his friend? If being considered an intruder means being able to enter and having a better chance at seeing his friend, GON asks for the key to the door because he'd rather go through that door than be tested having to open a 4-ton door with a broken arm on top of it. And if he can't get the key, no matter, He's willing to climb the gate if he has to. He is making it clear that one way or another, he is getting to the other side of that damn gate and he is seeing his friend. He promised himself that. He promised Killua that. That's what he's doing. He's going to get that done. And we are already aware of Gon's stubbornness. It is the clearest part of Gon's character he had yet to really work to improve on up until this point. And I emphasize that on purpose because I'll clarify later. But Gon here makes a really good argument, such a good argument. Why would you test your friends? That the guard doesn't even know how to answer that. The guard doesn't know what to do. He agrees with Gon. It's like it's a scenario that's never had to even be considered because it's never been an occurrence. Who comes to visit assassins? Assassins have friends? People are friends with assassins? Definitely not usually. That's very out of the norm. The Zoldicks don't have friends, so they've never even considered anyone wanting to pass through the gate. The guard is the one stuck between a rock and a hard place, not Gon. And it's wrong of Gon not to even consider anybody else's side on the matter, because this affects more than just himself. Even Kurapika and Leorio, having spent enough time around Gon, know the chance of him changing his mind is next to none. It's no use, as Leorio says. They pretty much have resigned to accepting his stubbornness at this point and just work around it rather than confronting it. Gon puts immense pressure on the guard, and he wants them to see Killua. He would prefer if he could just enter through the testing gate, but he can't. He wants Killua to have friends, but he's not going to allow Gon to go through that other door. And as Killua's friend, to enter a door with the key and to just get eaten by Mike. So Zebro, we learn that's the guard's name, gives in a little bit and does what he isn't supposed to. He calls up the estate to see if they can pass. He calls the butler to tell him 3 of Killua's friends came to visit him, but the butler rejects Zebro, and Zebro hangs up the phone. Got in trouble. Again, Zebro cares so much about Killua, it seems, and these 3 strangers claiming to be his friends, he is willing to get berated by his superiors and get in trouble, which could risk getting fired, but he doesn't care. He's willing to do it, and Gon takes the phone himself to talk to the butler personally. He's taken matters into his own hands and tried to plead his case. The butler tells Gon that Killua has no friends and hangs up. Again, we have not seen Gon this pissed off before. Gon just got hung up on. But these are extenuating circumstances we have here. And Gon calls the butler back and unleashes absolute anger, a fury that of 1,000 Karens, yelling at the butler, "How could you possibly know that Killua has no friends? Who are you to say that?" And the butler remains calm, monotone, doesn't even care, and explains to Gon, it doesn't matter who Gon claims he is. Gon claims he's Gon, so let's pretend Killua does so happen to have a friend named Gon. The 2 are talking over the phone. There's no proof that Gon is actually who he says he is. The butler can't take his word. Even if Killua gets on the phone and recognizes the voice, that means nothing. How easy it is to record or imitate somebody else's voice. And the butler continues his rationalization. Gon could claim Killua can recognize Gon by looking at him. Not only is that incredibly hard, because how are you going to see each other face to face without letting your guard down? There are ways to perfectly mimic somebody else's face and take on a master disguise. We've already seen that with Illumi, who disguised himself as Gitterrocker for most of the series so far. It's also impossible to prove whether Gon comes with pure intentions. There is no way to prove Gon is innocent himself and genuine. That there's no ulterior motives either brought upon by himself or somebody else forcing them upon him. The butler is trying to tell Gon, Gon, you simply do not understand. With this family, their notoriety, their fame, their legacy, everything, there will always be a present threat. It's kind of like the quote in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban when Dumbledore says something along the lines of like, every day evil forces attempt to penetrate these grounds. The Zoldicks have made many enemies, Enemies that are always finding ways to get to them, who will not stop at anything, and who would come up with any plan and do anything to penetrate those walls and get in. The butler cannot risk that. There must be no leaks in security and safety. Gon doesn't understand their world. Like Illumi said, and like Zebro said, the Zoldicks live in a completely different world. Outsiders could never understand. Let your guard down one time and can all come crashing down. As long as a threat exists, Gon cannot see Killua. And there seems to be no possibility of convincing who he needs to convince on the other side of this wall, not just to see Killua, but to even speak to him. Which, of course, is a painful thing for Gon, given how familiar he is what effects that kind of silencing and isolation has had on Killua already. And Gon is seriously pissed now. He's got veins popping through his forehead. Gon says, fuck it, I'm climbing the wall with a broken arm, I don't give a shit, and casts his fishing pole to climb over the wall, and he starts climbing, and Kurapika and Leorio are appropriately very wary of this and try dissuading him, but like I said earlier, the two of them know combating his stubborn side is futile, pointless, and Zebro sees this level of determination and loyalty and decides to give Gon the key to the door. And to make it even better and try his best not to have Gon killed, he will accompany him through the door himself, effectively risking his own life as well. He says there's a possibility Mike may recognize him and not attack them, but he's probably going to kill them all, but he will not allow Gon to die on his own. If Gon wants to go so bad, he must go with Zebro too. That's the compromise. This is what finally gets through Gon's thick, stubborn fucking head. He's so stubborn, he doesn't care what inconvenience he causes for others. It's not until he realizes he is causing somebody else serious trouble as well through his actions that he stops. Gon already was causing Zebro trouble, but he only realizes he has taken it so far with his stubbornness when Zebro pleads to him his intransigence only means death. That's the only outcome. Zebro isn't kidding around. You can go through that door, but I'm telling you, you will die. So I'm coming with you, and we will both most likely still die. I can't get you to stop, but I'm not going to allow you to be killed, so I'll come with you. He would never be able to face Killua again knowing he allowed his friends to die. So if Gon is willing to die, Gon must also be willing to have blood on his hands when he dies and have Zebro die too. If Gon dies, he dies, and Zebro's fine with that. Zebro is willing to compromise, risking his own life to reach that compromising solution. If it's too much for Gon, too bad. Look who's being the stubborn one now. See how it feels? How the turns have tabled. It finally gets through Gon's head, a great moment of self-realization. He admits he never stopped to consider Zebro's situation, and he apologizes. And this is a big fucking deal. This is almost the epitome so far of Gon's character growth. Serious evolution. This is why I emphasized earlier Gon's stubbornness was the most obvious part of his personality he had yet to improve upon up until that point, because he improves upon it right here. All three around him are clearly relieved, but also proud, especially Zebro, calling him a good boy, willing to quell his own anger for another's sake. He believes in his own strength as well as in his friends. He has a strong heart. Zebro can imagine how good a friend he probably is for and to Killua. But Gon's ability to be unselfish and to be rationed with, compassionate for another might not seem extraordinary, but it is a very healthy sign of growth and maturity. And especially compared to characters like Hisoka, it is certainly a trait to commend. The really big thing I see here is mutually winning each other over. Exactly how Hanzo described it in his fight against Gon when he conceded against him. Hanzo said one could say Gon won him over. Gon seems to have that charm about him. We've talked about that before. Zebro saw what Hanzo saw. Gon was able to win Zebro over to the point he was willing to give Gon the key so Gon could have it his way, but Zebro is coming with him because he likes him so much he isn't going to just let him die. And vice versa, Zebro won Gon over. Zebro was able to have Gon concede to his stubbornness for him, something I don't think anybody else has been able to do until right now, not even his friends. He won him over, and Gon hopped off the wall and agreed to go in together. That's a big thing, I think, to take away from this. So they agree. Zebro asks Gon, kind of like just a casual conversation, asks if he likes animals, and he can tell Gon is an animal person. Says he can tell Gon grew up in the countryside, that he's an outdoors kid. Zebro asks this more rhetorically, though, because he can tell Gon probably isn't afraid of Mike, because on this side of the wall, he is completely naive and unaware, doesn't realize exactly what's on the other side. In Gon's head, it's just another animal, like the others he's seen in the wild before. And he wants to teach Gon a lesson, I feel like. Give him some insight and provide a different perspective, but teach him a lesson. And Zebro decides he will open the testing gate one more time for them all to be able to pass, because he knows going through the door is death. But he wants Gon to see Mike for himself and see what he thought he could go up against. And having entered through the testing gate, they're all safe. But he still wants to show Gon Mike to have him learn a valuable lesson. Zebro calls Mike over, and a ginormous fucking wolf dog appears out of the forest in front of Gon, towering over him. The animal and Gon lock eyes. Gon stares into his eyes, and Gon realizes this isn't any animal he's ever encountered, nowhere close. Gon is terrified, and Zebro asks Gon if he understands now. This is a trained hunting dog, nothing like the wild animals he is accustomed to, not an animal he could ever tame or hope to go up against. This is a lesson Zebro knew he needed to learn, and one he learned indeed. This animal instilled primal fear into Gon. He admits there is no way he could fight him. He is scared, and that is something he has only ever said once before in 22 episodes. The only other time he said he is scared is when he was hiding from Hisoka on Zevil Island, and that eminence of bloodlust scared Gon. And he learns there is a limit to his abilities, and though he's probably pretty damn capable in many aspects and good at understanding a host of different things, like wild animals, for example here, a trained guard dog the size of a multi-story building is out of his league, as will be other things out there in the vast number of different worlds, not just this one, beyond he has yet to experience and be exposed to. You're just a 12-year-old boy from Whale Island. He knows nothing in the grand scheme of all things, and in this world, he is only beginning to venture around. Also a lesson to trust around you who deserve to be trusted, as they may have your best interests at heart, not just you. And I think Gon grew a lot this episode because of this, because of that lesson. And he grew a lot, but I think he learned even more, which I guess triggers that growth. And that's all thanks to Zebro, who, despite working for the Zoldicks, seems to be a good man who genuinely cares about Killua's well-being, first of all, and Killua's friends. So, onwards to the mansion, Gon promised himself no matter what difficulties await him, he would find Killua and rescue him. So we will have to see what's in store once they arrive at the mansion and how the family reacts to Killua's friends visiting. So that right there, I think I talked a lot. I talked about trying to bring these discussions to a shorter length, trying to figure out what I can cut out, but fuck that. I talked for another hour. What can you guys expect out of me? But that's going to be the end of the discussion here. My voice is killing me right now. If you enjoyed the video, leaving a like to let me know is awesome. And if you want to keep up with all future content from me, be sure to subscribe to stay in the loop. 80% of y'all who are watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel, so please press that subscribe button. You are a real one if you do. But also keep the conversation going in the comments so I can connect with y'all and build this community more. That's the most important thing to me. Check out and follow my Instagram for my photography and a more personal side if you'd like. Having said all that, and with that said, so long, farewell, until next time, thank you, be happy, and I hope you have a good one. Peace.